My final good morning of the morning, so we're heading towards afternoon. Kim Caldwell begins her second year as a head coach at the University of Tennessee. Last year we shared a bit with you about Coach Caldwell's family basketball connections, her late father, Scott Stevens, Coach Kim and her sisters Ann and Jill during their high school careers, and all went on to college basketball experiences. When Kim received her first head coaching job at Glenville State, her father served as her assistant coach back in 2016. Kim's husband, Justin, had been coach at Glenville State, assistant coach at Marshall, and now the player development coordinator with Rick Barnes at the University of Tennessee. I was moving through that to get to the really big news. Last year, you may recall, mid-season, a significant addition to the Caldwell family when Kim and Justin welcomed the newest member of the Caldwell Hoops family on January 20th. Connor Caldwell joined that roster. Shortly thereafter, Connor was immediately impressed with his mother's coaching ability when the Lady Vols knocked off eventual national champion from the University of Connecticut during the regular season, and then advanced here to Birmingham. University of Tennessee did to participate in the Sweet 16 during that first year for Kim at Tennessee. I have been told that Connor and his mom both are excited about the season ahead. Welcome to the podium from the University of Tennessee, Kim Caldwell.
Thank you very much. It's been quite a whirlwind since I stood up here in front of you guys a year ago. I am so thankful to last year's team. They trusted a new staff. They gave everything they had to help us set a foundation. And I'm even more thankful that the majority of our team that had eligibility remaining chose to stay, and that they have helped us continue to try to build upon that foundation that we set last year. It's been nice to have returners. It's been nice to have people that can lead and help our 8 newcomers figure out what our standards are. And those 8 newcomers have made practices incredibly competitive and exciting. As a coach, I always want more time. I want more practice time, but I know that I have a group that's ready to get on the floor and play.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, raise your hand. Karsten and Emma have the microphones. We'll get a microphone to you. We'll go over here on our left-hand side.
Coach, you just mentioned those standards. Can you help paint a picture for us what those look like?
It's for anything from we don't put our hands on our knees when we're tired. We want to be the hardest playing team. We work very hard. We want to be in the gym extra outside of our practices, making sure our individual game is better. We want to take notes when we watch film. We want to take notes on scouts. We want to make sure that we're sitting up straight. We're paying attention. All of those little details. It's nice that I don't have to be the one every single time we walk into a room to say those. I have 6 returners that can repeat it and get to it before I do.
How do you get them to fall in love with that?
Takes time. I think success helps. I think once they see either themselves get better or our team get better, then they start to realize all this matters, this pays off. And then once you see success and you see yourself improve and play better basketball than you ever played before, you want to do more of it.
Okay, we'll go over here to our right-hand side on the aisle.
You mentioned the competition that the newcomers have brought. Do you feel like there's even another level that they've kicked into for this team of the competition you have in practices with the depth? Just how would you describe that in preseason?
Yeah, I think our newcomers have elevated the level of our practice. Anyone can have a great practice, and you can't show up and just walk in the gym. You have to show up ready or you're going to get your tail kicked. There's going to be a freshman. We have 5 freshmen. They're doing a great job. They're tough. They are not scared of anyone. They're not scared to talk. They're not scared to lead. They're not scared. They win our sprints. I mean, they have been great. And if you don't show up ready and you don't show up in the right mindset to practice, then a freshman is going to, again, make you look bad.
Go right back over here to the right-hand side.
Number 8 in the preseason AP poll. You've been in conversations as a potential Final Four team this year. Just at this point in the preseason, how would you describe this team's ceiling from what you're seeing from them?
I think we have a low floor. I think we can get in our own way, and I think we have a really high ceiling. And those two things right now are very far apart. And so we need to do a better job of lowering what our floor is and staying out of our own way and staying focused and hungry every day. We are in the dark days of basketball season. We've been going for a really long time. There's not an opponent really near in sight. So we just have to make sure that we remember what the goal is, and the goal is to make it to the Elite Eight or Final Four, and those are conversations that we're having, and that takes a lot of hard work, and that takes consistency.
Okay, we'll go up here in the middle.
Wilson Jackson with the non-basketball. We kind of saw Talasia Cooper emerge a little bit, really in between like non-conference and really going into conference play. What's the ceiling for her, and where do you see her growth kind of coming into this season, more as a leader?
Yeah, she has the ceiling to be one of the best players in the country. She's a different player, a better player right now than she was at the end of last year. And I think at the end of last year, she was probably playing the best basketball that you guys have seen. She is facilitating. She's making the right pass. She is coming up, she's showing up every single day like a professional. She's getting work in before practice starts. If she doesn't have time with her class schedule, she'll get it in afterwards. She's taking care of her body. She's holding her teammates accountable. She's a much better teammate this year than she was last year just by having the leadership role. I think last year it was a little bit uncomfortable for her because she sat a year out, and now where she has some momentum, she's really taken that, and that's helped her just hold people around her accountable and hold herself accountable.
Okay, we'll go back over on the right side of the aisle.
You talked a little bit this summer about not having as many shooters as last year and just going to look a little different. Everyone's going to have to step up. Just how has that developed over the preseason? You know, how confident do you feel about, you know, the variety of shooters you're going to have and, you know, making sure those shots are being taken at the right time, the right people?
I think we're going to drive it more. I think our goal now is to get to the foul line more than it was to shoot three-point shots. And we just have spent a lot of time in our preseason of working on shooting. All right, we maybe didn't get a labeled shooter, but we're going to develop you, and we're going to make sure that you get better. And that's something that we always try to do, is make sure our players get better, whether it's finishing with their left hand, whether it's getting to the foul line, their defense, their lateral movement, or becoming a shooter. If you have a decent shot, we think we can make you a shooter, and we've spent a lot of time just working on that in practice and outside of practice.
Got one up here, front, Emma, right here to Kevin.
Kevin Skarbinski with the SEC blog. How important was it for you last year in your first season to establish proof of concept, not just knocking off big names, not just getting to the Sweet 16, but playing the way you wanted to play, pushing the pace, hitting threes, creating turnovers?
That was incredibly important, and that's why I will always be thankful to last year's team, because they could have looked at me and been like, nah, I don't want to do this, or this doesn't really fit my style of play. And they didn't, and they got better. They saw themselves get better. They loved it. They had fun. They had team chemistry because we went so deep in our bench. And I think that, to see them really fall in love with it and see them watch their bodies change, watch their game change, all of that, it was fun for me, because it doesn't matter what level you're at. An 18 to 22-year-old is an 18 to 22-year-old. Basketball is basketball, and it was really cool to see that transpire in real time. And again, that team helped us get the recruiting class that we did.
Over here on the left.
So, Coach, we know there's a game inside of the game. What are those areas when you look after a victory or a loss that you want your team to focus? Like, we need to win the rebound battle. We want to win this battle. What are those primary areas you want your team to focus on in every single game?
We want to win the rebounding battle. We want to win the possession battle. We want 20 more shots up than our opponent. So that means we got to take care of the basketball. That means we have to turn them over. That means we have to limit our fouls, and we have to get fouled. And that obviously means you got to go crash the offensive glass, and you have to box out. And I think we want to win. The major part of that, and the mindset part of that, is we want to beat you to every 50-50 ball. We don't know that we did a great job of that last year, but that is something that we have the athleticism to do. There's a ball, we're going to go beat you to it. And if not, we're going to be on the floor trying.
Coach, we'll go back over to the right side.
Last year, when you were recruiting the 2025 class, you were trying to, you know, pitch and sell something that they hadn't seen yet, you know, with your system at this level. Just curious, how has that maybe changed with this, you know, fall recruiting? Has it been easier to, you know, sell this, or have you not really noticed a difference?
It's been easier to sell because they've watched the game. So you don't have to sit there and necessarily explain to them and break it down. You don't have to show people past clips. You can show clips of people in Tennessee uniforms and how that they would fit in. I think we're always going to recruit athleticism and a mindset. We're going to recruit players that want the ball in their hands, players that aren't afraid of anything, players that as a freshman want to come and be counted on right away, because we don't recruit backup freshmen. We recruit freshmen that we are going to count on you from day one. And if you're not right and we can't find what's right, then we're going to go get it out of the portal. And I think that's a dog mentality. That's a mindset of, hey, this is something I want to do. I believe in myself enough. I believe in Tennessee and the coaching staff enough that this is what I want.
Okay, we'll go right here in the center.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about specifically two of your transfers in Jersey Wolfenbarger and Janiyah Barker. How do you envision them fitting into your system?
I think they're great for what we do because they're bigs and guards bodies. So they like to fly around. They're very good in pressing. They like to run the floor in transition. They would rather play outside than in. And we obviously don't have a traditional post player. We play a 5-out. So it's really important for us that when we get our bigs and we put them in our system, that they can play positionless. They're not going to bring the ball up the floor, but they can play 2, 3, 4, 5 for us because they're all the same in what we try to do, and I think that they do that really well. And they can get up at the front of the press and get turns, that we don't have to hide them in the back.
We'll go back over on the right side.
You have twin sisters in your freshman class. Have there been any fun sisterly moments in practice? Is that a fun dynamic to have on this team?
It's a great dynamic. I obviously coached with my dad, so I love to have siblings involved. I've had siblings involved in a team every year I've been a head coach, and so I love that. I think that brings a really nice, just a little bit of competitiveness, and you can just talk smack a little bit more when it's your sister, your sibling. So they've been great. They don't like to guard each other. They like to go against new people because they've been guarding each other their whole lives.
Okay, we have another one right here in the center.
Coach, this is just more so of a question for you. How's it been just balancing motherhood with, with your new son and just, getting ready for the season? Like you said, coming up here last season, things look very different then than what they do now. Like, so, how's that process been?
Yeah, I wouldn't say balancing is the right word, probably more like juggling. And that's probably what it is for all working moms, and it's been great. It's been very good for me. I've never been a coach that can ever turn it off. I think about basketball 24/7, and now there are times in my day where I come home, and my son is at that cute age where he can love you back. So I come home and he'll come laughing and crawling back to me or crawling up to me, and that's my favorite part of the day, and then I can have time with him before he goes to bed to think about him, and then I think about basketball again.
All right, we'll go back over here on the right.
Janiyah Barker was the number 3 recruit in the 2022 class. Obviously has a really, really high ceiling as a player. Feels like she hasn't even gone close to that in college yet. Is that a challenge that you like as a coach that, hey, we could get you here, and even in one season?
Absolutely. I want her to play the best basketball she's ever played in her final season, and I want to help her do that.
Coach Caldwell, thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.